There is a painting the FBI has been hunting for 36 years, Rembrandt's only seascape. No one has seen it since 1990, and its frame still hangs on a wall in Boston. Empty, because the museum is not allowed to take it down. Stand here with me a moment, in front of that frame. Until one night in March 1990, it held Rembrandt's Storm on the Sea of Galilee, the only seascape he ever painted. 13 works vanished from this building in 81 minutes, $500 million of art, and not one has come home. The reward for their return stands at $10 million, and it has never been claimed. It is the largest art theft in history, and it is still officially an open case. So this file asks 3 questions. Who walks into a museum and takes a Rembrandt? Why can no one on earth sell it? And why does an empty frame still hang on that wall 36 years later? Let's begin with the painting itself, because it deserves to be remembered properly. In 1633, Rembrandt is 27 years old, newly arrived in Amsterdam, and hungry to prove that a young Dutch painter can outstage anyone in Europe. He chooses a story from the Gospel of Mark, a small fishing boat on the Sea of Galilee, caught in a sudden storm, the sail tearing, one wave standing over the bow like a wall. He paints it as pure theatre. The canvas splits on a diagonal, golden light breaking through on the left, darkness swallowing the stern on the right, and at the stern, Christ just being shaken awake, the calmest figure in the boat. Look closer, and you can feel the physics of it. Spray breaking white over the bow, a rope snapping taut, one poor soul leaning out over the side, seasick in the middle of a miracle. The boat tilts, and the whole room tilts with it. Now count the men in the boat. 12 disciples plus Christ should make 13. There are 14. The extra man grips a rope with one hand and his cap with the other, and he is the only one looking straight out of the painting, at you. It is Rembrandt himself, sailing inside his own storm. The picture itself lived a long life on the move, first recorded in 1644 with an Amsterdam merchant, then 2.5 centuries of Dutch collections and an English estate before it crossed the Atlantic. In 1898, a Boston collector named Isabella Stewart Gardner bought it through her advisor Bernard Berenson. 5 years later, in 1903, she opened a Venetian palace in the Boston Fens to hold her collection and hung the Storm in the Dutch room on the 2nd floor. Her will was famous for one rule: nothing may be sold, nothing added, nothing rearranged. The museum stays exactly as she left it, forever. Remember that rule. It is about to matter. And the Dutch room she built around the Storm held company, worth the trip on its own. A Vermeer called The Concert, more Rembrandts, and a Flink landscape so good it was long mistaken for a Rembrandt too. One quiet room in Boston, holding the Dutch Golden Age. Stop here with me, because this is where the story breaks. At 24 minutes past 1 in the morning on March 18, 1990, 2 men in Boston police uniforms ring the museum's side entrance and say they are responding to a disturbance. The city outside is still winding down from St. Patrick's Day, full of witnesses who will remember nothing useful. The night guard breaks protocol and lets them in. Within minutes, both guards are restrained in the basement, and for the next 81 minutes, the museum belongs to the thieves. In the Dutch room, they throw 2 Rembrandts onto the marble floor, shatter the glass, and cut the canvases out of their stretchers with a blade, the Storm, and a lady and gentleman in black. They take Vermeer's Concert, today valued at $250 million, the most valuable stolen object on Earth. They take a Flink landscape, 5 Degas drawings, a Manet, a bronze Chinese beaker, and a gilded eagle from the top of a Napoleonic flag. In 1990, the FBI put the loss at $200 million. Today, the estimate is $500 million. At 2:45, they load their car twice and drive into the dark. The guards are found at 8:15. By then, the largest art theft in history is already more than 5 hours old. When the day staff arrived, the Dutch room told its own story: broken glass across the marble, and 2 empty stretchers where the Rembrandts had been cut away. The outline of the crime, drawn in what was left behind. And the file records one detail nobody has ever explained. The Manet hung in the blue room downstairs, and the motion sensors show no one entering that room all night. Only the guard's own footsteps, hours earlier. Now step back with me, because what happened next is the strangest part. Nothing. The reward climbed from $1 million to 5, then to 10, the largest ever offered by a private institution, and it has never been claimed. Tips arrived, informants, treasure hunters, rumors traded in prison yards, and investigators followed them for decades, from Boston row houses to warehouses that held nothing. Every road so far has ended in the same place: nowhere. In 2013, the FBI announced with high confidence that it knew who the 2 men were, members of a criminal organization. Both, the Bureau later confirmed, were already dead. The statute of limitations had expired back in 1995. The Bureau believed the art had moved through Connecticut and Philadelphia, where a sale was attempted in 2002, and there the trail ends. No one was ever charged. The night guard who opened that door was questioned for the rest of his life and charged with nothing. He died in 2024, still saying he was fooled like everyone else. And the painting itself? A Rembrandt this famous cannot be sold. Every dealer, every auction house, every border alert on the planet knows its face. Stolen masterpieces are not sold. They are hidden, traded in the dark as collateral, or slowly ruined in places never built to keep them. That is the paradox of stealing a masterpiece. The moment you take it, its fame, the very thing that made it worth taking, makes it worthless to you. Which brings us back to Isabella's rule. Because nothing in her museum may be changed, the empty frames were never taken down. They hang exactly where she hung them, gilded, restored, and waiting. The museum calls them placeholders. Stand in the Dutch room today, and you are looking at the exact shape of what is missing. Over the years, the frames themselves have been cleaned and restored, empty but cared for, as if the paintings might come back tomorrow. Stand with that empty frame for one more moment. Somewhere, a wall, a vault, a crate, there is a canvas where a 27-year-old Rembrandt is still holding his cap in the storm, still looking straight out at whoever stands in front of him. He has been holding on since 1633. For 36 years, nobody has met his eye, or someone meets it every day and tells no one. The painting stays the same, wherever it is. You won't. Next time, we open a file about the most famous face on Earth, and the morning in 1911 when the Mona Lisa simply walked out of the Louvre under a workman's coat. Thank you for watching. This was the story behind the painting, and I'm Marcus Rowe. The next file is already waiting on your screen. Until then, keep looking closer.